Woo! Chief of Hoover PD just said, Carlee, it ain't over till it's over. It ain't over. It ain't over, Carlee. He's coming to get you.
Pascal.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Pascal back at it again with another pop-up video. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or X, and Threads, The Pascal Show. One word, hit that like button down below. And let's not forget to crush that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. And of course, crush that like and follow button on Facebook if this is your first time checking out this channel right here. Anyway, we got to jump into this story. Okay, as you already know, we've been covering this whole Carlee Russell situation for a very, very long time. She went out of her way, lied, okay, pushed this whole hoax and all that. We even have a video I just did a little bit ago. We even have her now ex-boyfriend trying to look for love, looking for love in all the wrong places. She's looking for love out here in these clubs, hosting. I'm sorry. Hosting events. I'm sorry. It's laughable. Hosting events out in Atlanta, in clubs in Atlanta. All right. And now, sorry, let me get myself together. And now we got Hoover PD, chief of police. Okay. I like to call him the Tommy Lee Jones Rico Suave, has now come out with a statement. He's come out and he's feeling some type of way, y'all. He's not happy about the situation. Remember, we saw him during the press conference, and he said when the whole thing came down about her admitting that she just done lied through her teeth and all that. We heard him. He was like, we're upset too. We're not happy about this information too. We look like Boo-Boo the fool too. Not only just the public, but PD looked like a doggone fool for doing everything they could to find this young woman, this young liar. Okay? Now, he has come out and he has some things to say. There is an interview. Shout out to my people who have been following me on Twitter. Thank you so much for sending it my way. I could not go through the rest of my day without showing you guys this interview. And you're going to hear it from the horse's mouth himself. You're going to hear from the chief himself. He says, it ain't over, baby. We ain't done yet. We just getting started. Let's rock and roll, baby.
Carlee Russell now faces 2 misdemeanor charges that critics have said are too lenient. In his first interview since that news conference announcing those charges, the police chief of Hoover, Nick Durzis, joins us in studio this morning. Chief, good morning.
Well,
Tommy Lee.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, your reaction to how quickly some of the state legislators have jumped on your thoughts at that news conference saying these charges should be tougher on Carlee Russell.
Well, I think not only the legislators here, but people around the country have emailed literally that day to say, I can't believe that that's all the penalty would be. I heard from several legislators on Friday within hours of that press conference. So it makes us feel good that the general public does think that this is a little ridiculous when you consider those 49 hours that she was gone and all the expense and local and state and federal law enforcement officials that were looking for, and thank goodness we were able to make that she made it home safe, that it would be like someone going out and shoplifting less than $500 worth of merchandise. It's the same penalties. And I think when people see that there's got to be some sort of enhancement, that when you fake kidnapping or some type of violent crime, there's got to be additional penalties for it.
I couldn't agree more. Let's keep it a buck, y'all. Of course, I got to hop in and out here for fair use and all that, but we got to be real. Let's keep this a buck. Yeah, there are a lot of, like, you are committing a crime, and a lot of these crimes, especially when you're pulling a hoax like this, not only burns into other people's time, it burns into police time as well. They could be out there saving lives. They could be using that energy and time and money, saving the people that need to be saved, not going and chasing some hoax. The fact that this is just misdemeanors and small little things, I mean, I guess that's one thing that we could say thank you to Carlee Russell because they are obviously trying to push for harsher punishment when somebody tries to use a fake or use a lie to fake something like an abduction. But still, no matter what, I mean, the fact that it doesn't even exist right now is still beyond me, because there's been plenty of other people out here in these streets that have straight up lied about being taken and so forth. So that is just very, very odd to me. But hey, thanks to Carlee, they're trying to move some things. They should call it the Carlee hustle law or something like that. But let's move on.
Tell us the resources. Give us a little bigger picture, though, the resources that are activated when something like this happens. Because we know the federal government, the FBI gets involved anytime you're talking about an abduction or kidnapping.
Sure. We called out the Army literally that night because, of course, the girl was on, Carlee was talking to 911. All of a sudden, she's talking to an aunt. The phone goes dead. Here's a little scream. Our officers get up there a couple of minutes later. No Carlee, no baby. That's what obviously said was a baby on the interstate. And obviously we started calling out other shift members, detectives, our drone operators. Ended up calling the county. We got to get dogs up here. Made calls to the federal government. The next morning, the Secret Service got involved with getting the telephone to try to find out what we could on that telephone that was left on the side of the road itself. So again, it's all hands on deck, and we take that real serious when a crime we think has occurred.
Yeah.
How quickly and how much time had passed before you and your colleagues started to realize this probably is a hoax? Did that happen shortly, or walk us through those few hours?
That's a good question.
Initially, when I got the phone call at home, I was home and they called and said, we've got this situation that's just occurred, and talked about the baby on the interstate. Little skeptical in myself, baby on the interstate, that we didn't get any of the calls. But I've known over my long career that you never say never, because things that sometimes I thought, that's a little strange, ends up obviously being true. So we took that very serious. I guess really when we started really getting skeptical was when we got the video of the interstate that showed pretty much the vehicle traveling, and then especially the distance that it traveled. And then it took about 24 hours before, or maybe less than 24 hours, when we started getting the extraction from the cell phone. And we started seeing the things like, Amber Alert, taken,
The searches that she had
searches
made.
that she had made.
Liam Neeson's. Let's keep it real, y'all. He is saying exactly the moment, and I'm really happy that he did this interview, because it shows a little bit more transparency from the PD and all that. And of course, we know that PD could be a little bit more transparent on many other cases as well. But given the fact that this whole thing went down, there's a lot of people that have a lot of questions about this. So I do appreciate his transparency, or being honest about when they started looking at the situation, or what the moment was when they started to scratch their heads. And again, the moment was exactly the moment when we all kind of was like, oh dang, really now? Liam Neeson's really taken? Literally, he's saying, yeah, we were doing the same reaction. We had the same reaction as everybody else. We were still shocked when we saw not only just the video, because the video really sparked up a lot of questions. A lot of us are very, very smart out here. We heard about a baby. We heard about this taking situation. We look at the footage. We don't see any struggle. We don't see another car. We don't see any other people out there. What's going on with this story? But then he said it really is the cell phone and her Google searches that really explained a lot of stuff. Again, man, that's when they started looking at it and going, man, this girl lied. And that's why they said, let's do this press conference real quick. She done lied. How many ways can I tell you that she lied without telling you that she lied? That's exactly what he did, or what they did during that press conference. And it was glorious. Let's continue on, babies.
And then, of course, then you really start thinking, wow, this doesn't make any sense.
Chief, I know you mainly deal in facts, so this is going to be a hypothetical. But let's just say, for instance, the family did not go on a morning network show. And she came out immediately after that, public apology. I'm sorry, I exhausted all these resources to try to find me. Would you think the charges still would have been levied against her? Would
Hell
you still
yeah.
have pursued those?
Well, again, that's all hypothetical,
Yeah.
so it's kind of hard for me to answer because that's not the way it occurred.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough.
What prompted you then to seek out the state attorney general's office for help on this?
Well, obviously we had talked to the district attorney, Lenise Washington. First of all, we felt like since this became not only national but international story, that it made more sense to go to the county, even though it's a misdemeanor, and let them prosecute instead of us, since we've done all the investigation and then prosecuted ourselves. So we talked to Lenise Washington; she was on board. Then we talked to the clerk of the Bessemer division. She decided that it made more sense to go back to Hoover, and they did not want to issue a warrant, send it back for our plate. So I felt like then it just made sense that since they didn't want to issue the warrant, then they probably shouldn't prosecute it. So if we're going to do the misdemeanor in our court, it just to me made sense to let the state attorney general let them prosecute it and kind of get us out of the prosecution business.
You know what's interesting? I mean, obviously there's a lot of the moving around and all that's going on with this, and of course there was a lot of things that they needed to do behind closed doors or behind the scenes to kind of solidify a few things. But one thing that I do want to point out in the very beginning of that clip or that moment that we just watched, the male reporter here, he asked, it's a decent question. I mean, it's hypothetical. It doesn't exist. We live in another scenario where the parents did go onto the Today morning show. They did say that the monster was still out there and all that. But I know that there's a lot of people out here that don't think that the parents knew during that time. I still kind of think that they didn't know at that time. I don't know. I still have I'm still clinging on to it a tiny bit. And I know a lot of y'all are like, nah, man, they knew, man. But for me, I'm still thinking that they didn't know. Why would they go on national television, agree to do that interview, and put themselves out there, risking their integrity, their reputation, etc.? But that's the only argument I ask out and that I pose to you guys that think that they're involved. There's a part of me that still feels that they are involved, and there's a part of me that feels that they're not. But moving on to that, though, the question that was asked, it's a decent question, but at the same time, it has nothing to do with the situation at hand. Because I do think that no matter what, there still would have been the same reaction from the world. The world would have still reacted the exact same way. We still would have been angry if she was to go on the Today Show or do a statement through her lawyer like she did when she finally exposed the truth. I feel like she would still get the same charges handed to her right now. In fact, I still think that there would still be people trying to push for harsher laws out here for people who fake their own kidnappings. No matter what, I think the end result was going to be the same. Let's continue on.
You had, after that network interview that Mike referenced, you said you started getting contacted from all across the country. Mm-hmm. People thinking there was a kidnapper on the loose in the city of Hoover, and the Hoover Police Department wasn't talking about it.
Sure.
Your reaction to that?
Yeah. Well, I think after that national interview came out, and they said yes, that there had been a kidnapping. There was no question about it. That it was time that we started bringing out the facts. And like I said, we laid out the facts that day and let everybody make their own opinion. But my opinion at that press conference was that this did not happen the way they said it did.
And that's the other thing too. It's pretty interesting that you have somebody that they're out here saying what has happened. Clearly, the fact that the police did not come out and say, yeah, there is a monster out here, does paint us a different story, does explain something. Come on, y'all. If there really was a monster out here in Hoover or in the state of Alabama, you don't think that they would have gone up on a press conference? We would have had 11 press conferences, y'all. We would have had so many press conferences saying this is what the person looks like, so on and so forth. There would be drawings. There would be alerts out here. Major news networks would be posting a drawing of this culprit, this redheaded, bald in the back looking dude named Vinton, Cletus. Literally, there would have been that, but there wasn't. And that explains a lot too. Let's continue.
I know you have a job to do and y'all do it well, but it can't help but get personal sometimes, I would imagine. How personal did this feel to the whole
Interesting.
Hoover Police Department?
No, very, very personal. I mean, we're a department that if a crime takes place, any type of crime, we take it personal because we don't want anybody doing anything to anybody that lives in our city or visits our city. We
Word.
want to be a safe place. And when that comes out, especially that particular night, you know, the adrenaline starts flowing on the police officers that are showing up, the guys that are coming out, the drone officers. So everybody now thinks that a kidnapping is taking place. And you get hyped up. Your adrenaline, the blood's flowing, your heart's pumping. And when you're out searching, you don't really know what you're searching for or what you're going to find. And it's a tough scenario to go through that and then all of a sudden find out that everything that we did was really for naught. I mean, it did not happen.
You know, I do want to point this out too. I don't think a lot of people are putting this other scenario or the other possibility in consideration. There could have been other people hurt during the search, other people falsely accused. There could have been so much negative force on the wrong people. If clues or thoughts or rumors moved in a specific direction, this could have turned out something. This could have been deadly for some people. This could have been so detrimental for so many different people. Thank God it didn't go that way, y'all. Thank God it didn't go that way. But it could have, y'all. It could have. The rumors were going crazy. The news was going, the world was going crazy trying to find this woman, this liar. Like I said, it could have gotten worse. It could have been much worse than it is. And thank God it didn't go that way. Let's continue.
But what a strange emotion it must be. Everyone certainly wanted Carlee Russell to be okay.
Sure.
Right.
She is okay.
Right.
So it's a balance, isn't it?
Oh,
being glad
absolutely.
she's okay, but then being angry that it was all a hoax.
Sure. But let me say this to you. Under the circumstances, I like the result here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That she got home to her family, whatever issues that she's got, pray that they get handled. We'll move on. We've got other things. Still want to know some things. Still want to know where was she doing those 49 hours.
So you don't know.
We don't.
So
We've not talked to her at all since the night that she returned home at the hospital. Detective's very small interview. We've not talked to her since. And those are the type of things that I would like. I would like to know the end result of why.
I think a lot of people would.
Yeah.
Do you believe she had help?
Well, again, we don't have those facts yet. The attorney's statement said that she did not. Where she was those 49 hours by herself. Again, some questions that we hope that if they don't tell us, we hope that we figure it out ourselves. Because again, we're still investigating.
Chief, because
He said we still investigating, baby. He said we don't know about that information yet. Let's not forget this investigation is still wide open. It's open, baby. It ain't over yet. Just because she got these misdemeanors does not mean that there ain't more charges potentially coming. More's coming. And he just said it right there. Investigation is still moving. We are still looking into things. We don't have all the facts yet. Again, they haven't even had the interview or the conversation with her to find out what she actually did for the last 48 hours, 49 hours to be more exact. What was she doing for 49 hours? Where did the Cheez-Its go? Where did those delicious Cheez-Its go? And that comfortable robe. And that very soft toilet paper. Where did it all go? That's what I'd like to know as well. Dag nabbit. But the investigation is still going on. It ain't over, baby. It ain't over.
of the seriousness of the story, we didn't want to bring this up, but now that everything's out here and the state attorney general has taken over the investigation and the prosecution of this, but your fashion style became really a national story. So I'm just curious, how you felt about that, because I know you heard some of this reaction.
Well, I did, and again, I have I've dressed the way I've dressed for forever.
Slick.
And why all of a sudden it became a big deal, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm flattered that some people like it and probably others don't. But
But fun to laugh about it now because everything's okay.
Yeah, thank goodness. Obviously, we would not be talking about this if things were not well. And it's been good. It's been fun, and people asking who my tailor is, and so forth. So it's been an interesting couple of weeks for sure.
Hey, let me just say this, fellas, especially the older fellas out here. Okay, rip a page out of his book of style. I'm just gonna be real, especially you 5-0 out here, because a lot of y'all just do the grays and the navy blues and the blacks. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all could like jazz it up a little bit. I mean, he's having fun. You can see every day he's showing up in his Sunday best, and it's all good. I'm here for it. He looks good. He should keep doing it, baby. Keep doing it. I just want to know where he gets his haberdashery. That's what I'd like to know, because it is snazzy. But I'm telling you right now, Tommy Lee Jones, Rico Suave ain't to be messed with when it comes to his suits. All right? Let's keep it real. Let's keep rolling.
By the way, the suit game is on today as well.
There it is.
With the salmon. So, all right.
It's Easter year round for you. It looks good. It looks really
As
Yes.
we wrap up, is there a message for the people of Hoover and all the other folks who wanted to help in this situation?
Well, as I said to begin with, it takes people with hearts to come out and be concerned and search for somebody that you don't know. And I think that shows a lot about our community. It shows a lot about the state of Alabama, that people are going to do this. And when people say, well, if this happens again, it's going to be treated just like it is just now. And it becomes a national international story. It does. And all we want to do is to make sure, thank goodness, that she returned home and safe and sound.
True.
And again, it's great to live in a community where people care about people.
All right, that'll be the final.
And of course that's all she wrote with this interview. But I will say this: I am very, very thankful that she came home safe. I just reported of another story, Alicia Watts. Please go check it out. Not the greatest of news. Very, very devastating information. We all want to hear those missing person stories come back to a story of they came home safe. We all want to hear that story of them coming home in one piece. That's what we give a damn about. Right, guys? That's why we put all the energy out here. That's why we hashtag their name. That's why we put all this work to make that happen. And that's why local law enforcement and all the people of a particular town does it as well, because it takes a village. I've said it before. I know it's a little Hillary Clinton, but whatever. I'm spinning it different. It takes a village to find these missing loved ones. Real talk. And people put their time in trying to find her. At the end of the day, yes, it's very wonderful that she is home safe. It is terrible how she lied about this situation, and many other people who have lied. A lot of them, there have been a good portion of them that have just gotten a slap on the wrist or nothing at all. And that's not right. At least that's what I think. You got people going out of their way. You got law enforcement burning their time and money, taxpayer dollars, to go out there and try to find these people who are lying. At the end of it, there should be harsher laws out here, harsher punishments for people who are putting on full-on hoaxes for the whole world. When the whole world is out here, when you got local people sacrificing so much time and energy, when they could be sacrificing that time and energy on someone that really needs that help. But the main takeaway that we should be taking from this interview, not only that they're being transparent, they're telling us a little bit of the breakdown of everything, which is, I appreciate that big time. The other thing we got to take away from this is this. It ain't over. The investigation isn't over. They're looking into everything. They are not done yet. And of course, they are trying to push certain rules, certain laws, certain punishments for things like this in the future. Now, will it be in time for Carlee Russell to feel the brunt of it? Maybe not. But still, it should be something that people in the future think twice before they actually make up a lie like this. But that's the video, guys. Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Where do you stand on this? How do you feel about this information? To me, one, I'm happy that they're not done yet. Obviously, he said, we ain't done yet. It ain't over. We are still doing our investigation. I feel that they're going to be tagging some things, more things on Carlee Russell. It's coming. Oh, it's coming indeed. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Hit that like button down below. And let's not forget to crush that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. And please do not forget to hit that like button and that follow button on my Facebook page if you're watching over there. It'd be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family as well. Anyway, it's time to get going. Man, it ain't over, baby. It ain't over. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys in the next video. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.